All right. All right. So, important thing to understand about Roadhog is in most setups he takes the role of a flanker. Because if you just try to force action from the front as a hog, um, you just hard feed. So generally speaking, what you want to do is you want to just like um, off angle pretty aggressively, occasionally flank. Look for ways you can spam people without necessarily like having to like um, commit to anything really dangerous. And yeah, those are the biggest points. Um, Especially when you don't have a main tank. If you don't have a main tank, the most important thing you can do against a team that does have a main tank is set up in places where he can't do anything about you, and you can still shoot him from the sides, right? So this Ryan's already making it easy for you because he's walking to point as opposed to checking pillars, which we know from scrims is really important, right? So if you just like push pillars by yourself, no one else can really fight you. You can outfight pretty much anyone that's there because there's no main tank, right? Uh, and you can take control eventually, and then like threaten hooks off the side of the map, or just prevent the backline from supporting this guy, and eventually he's going to die. So yeah, take the in this map in particular, take the important map control, especially when this Ryan's not doing this. If the Ryan were to be say pushing pillars, right, then instead of pushing at him, right, you'd either if your diva is on one side, you'd stand over here and you'd spam his shield until he makes a decision, or you'd play left side if your diva's playing on the right side, and you'd again just keep spamming him, right, and then potentially like bring apply point pressure when the point uncaps, or just shoot him until he does something, right? Or alternatively, your third option on the side of the map is just flank around the side of the map and get into the back line, right? Don't hard commit until something's going on the front line, right? Or like play this side so that you can get a hook across here, but you don't actually have to like walk deeper into this room to kill somebody, right? Be careful about overextending, is what I'm saying. But the flank is also very good because again, you're not doing a whole lot from here if the Ryan's not pushing aggressively into your team, right? If you're just camping up here and not doing anything, then you don't really do much from here either. So you can spam him, sure. You can threaten to hook. You can apply point pressure, but you can also flank. But that's what I mean is like wherever the main tank is, you want to play away from it, and harass them off angles as you can. Where are you? There you are. All right, so that's unfortunate in terms of in terms of like missing the hook. But I don't want you to focus on this, right? You can spam him, and that's okay. But the priority is taking this. Once you're here, this Ryan is super sad because he gets no help from his backline, right? And eventually he's going to die if you just shoot him from once you cut off his help, right? But if he's allowed to like hide in this cubby, right? And then their Ana sitting here who can heal him all day, right? Then you're never ever going to cap point or like force him out, right? So you really have to like take control of this. Your diva's doing it, so I don't know if this is like intended, but like if one tank goes this way, then it's okay to like apply pressure to point. Just please don't walk towards point. Is the next step. Yeah, so you're not going to point, which is good. There's at least you're going for a boop above you. I don't know if you can hear it, but yeah. So like this is it's just not a valuable use of your time, right? This entire time, this Ryan has been sitting on point, and the point hasn't been cappable. So it's just he's wasting his own time, so let him waste his time, go do other things, right? If you look at a shield, it's probably pretty close to full. Like, if I had to guess, it's probably around like 800 shield. 800 shields, exactly. Wow, okay. So he has enough shield that he's not remotely under threat. It'll take you like another, oh my god, this sound. It'll take you like another clip to like get through a shield. And again, if you're over here, right, this Moira just faded, right? She's dead. This guy is alone. He's also potentially dead, right? There's a lot of things you can do if you just like take parts of the map that are important and ignore the main tank. Just play away from him, ignore the main tank, he's not important. Alright, you kill him, which is good. He's just, that has more to do with him being bad, right, than like, any like particular play that you made that was good, right? You hit the hook, that was good, right? But like you had a lot of opportunities to not die there. Oh no, you're gonna get booped. Yeah. So, if you want to play point for whatever reason, so first of all, I don't think this heal was necessary. I wasn't even paying attention, actually. Hang on. Let me verify that. The heal was okay, I guess. They have no burst damage anymore, though, so I don't think it's really that big of a concern. So the problem is, I know it's a little unlucky that you got double booped, right? But the smarter you play situations, the more you set yourselves up to get, more you set yourself up to get lucky and not get unlucky, right? So you kind of just walked out to shoot the monkey from this side as opposed to just standing here and shooting him in the face, right? You did feel comfortable standing next to the corner, and that's directly what got you killed, right? So it's unlucky that you got double booped by like the monkey jump, followed by the Lucio boop, right? But it's just like there's no reason to walk out over here to shoot the monkey when you can shoot him right here, right? And this is something that applies to every map where you can get booped, because it is so dangerous and it's just not worth the risk. Like Ilias just don't stand in the spots where you can easily get booped. Don't even play close to them, because it's so scary, right? Because it's so easy to get environmental to just get killed by boops. And this part and Sanctum's the same thing, right? Just don't even play past this center line right here, right? Anything past here has a very strong likelihood of getting you killed, right? So just like hug this wall as tight as you can, make this guy try to boop you repeatedly, and just walk back into it over and over again, and just kill the monkey by walking into him. You don't have to like swing out to do it. There's just no reason to swing out. Alright, you're taking pillars. Nice. Is that a replay bug? That's a replay bug. Interesting. You gotta do when he's not looking. So I'll give you your exact window when you probably should have thrown the hook. Right now, they're not looking at you, or this guy is, but this guy's not looking at you, and you haven't shot him yet. Right now, if you did the hook, like your shot would hit him, and then you would hook him, right? Also, he's not looking at you. Like you see, he's not looking at you, right? And he just threw a fire strike. Right? That's a perfect window to like step forward, throw a hook, right? But then you shoot, you wait for a half second, and then you throw the hook. But then the fact that you shot him alerts this guy that you're there, and that's why you don't get the hook, right? I'm not really exactly sure how to like help you improve that, recognize that situation, other than just like understand that if you shoot people, they will react to it, because people are very, very scared of hog hook, right? If you want to go for a surprise hook, you need to make sure they don't know that you're there, right? Or they have no ability to stop you from hitting the hook, right? And the Ryan definitely has the ability to stop you, so you need to make sure that he doesn't know you're there when you go for the hook, right? Or that he's focused on other things, right? But he's like throwing a fire strike here, and then you shoot him, so then he's like, oh, I'm gonna shield this now, right? And so if you just look from his PV, like, I think it's pretty clear. Alright, so he's swinging, he walks out, he's not paying attention, you shoot him, then he shields, right? That's the thing, right? You shot him and didn't immediately hook, right, as you shot, right? So if you can right-click hook, you can cancel your right-click into a hook, and that's like totally doable, right? But you shot him, and then you waited, and then you hooked, and then he blocks it, right? You gave him enough time to react, or you gave him plenty of time to react. So just don't give him any time to react. Why did that hook work, right? Why did that hook work? He wasn't looking at you, right? And you could see he wasn't looking at you because he was looking at all sorts of other stuff all around, right? So the difference between this hook and the first hook was that the first hook you threw after he looked at you, because you shot him and didn't do anything for a couple seconds, right? It was a solid like at least a second where you didn't hook, and he just like reacted, right? But in this case, he's busy doing a lot of other stuff. You can see that you throw the hook, it's almost guaranteed, right? Nice job. Okay, so a couple things wrong with that right there. As Hog, you just need to be really mindful of your ammo. Because hooking without ammo is a tragedy. Just like you hit the hook and then you have to melee them, and it's so sad. But right here, right? So you fired that fourth shot, and like once you fired you fired 3 shots, and then it looked like you were still thinking about throwing a hook, right? So you fired another shot, and then but you still didn't do anything, right? So at this point you're at 1 shot, right? It's time to reload, right? Either you all in for a hook right now, which is a little sketch because you kind of want to have 2 ammo actually for a hook, because you want to right click hook into left click. But if you have 1 ammo, right, unless you want all in for a hook, you just need to reload right now. Because the worst case scenario is that you start a reload and you need to hook, and then you have no ammo, right? Or sorry, yeah. So if you save this shot, you can start a reload and then cancel the reload and hook instead of finishing the reload and still kill someone, right? If like for some reason McCree just suddenly popped up or something, right? But because you fired the shot, when you realize you need to throw a hook, right, you have 0 shots, right? And so I'll play this again in slow motion, or not slow motion. I'll just play the sequence again so you can see what I'm talking about. Alright, so just count the shots. 1, 2, 3. At this point, consider reloading or just all-in for a hook. Fire a shot. Now you shot, right? You tried to cancel your reload into a hook. You didn't have the shot in reserve. So even if you hit this hook, right, you don't have ammo. That heal is pretty unnecessary, I think. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. You're missing 150 HP. This is, yeah, there's no, just no need for this. Hey, you got him. Careful taking yourself out of the fight for that long, right? I know you want to get the Genji, but like just chasing down a Genji is like harder than like, it's just like an unlikely kill because he was over here and then you chased him and you ran all over here, right? And then you're like, oh, I guess I gotta chase him again, right? And it's just kind of like if you come around this corner, like chances are he's already gone somewhere, right? Or he's gonna like, there's no point pushing into him when you can just like shoot a point because like what's the Genji has to do something from here, right? Either has to go around your backline or he has to come out and try and kill your Zen or something, right? If you just stand here and shoot at point, you're still contributing and you can still watch this decide between shots, for example, right? You shoot, look, right? Like you're not doing that much damage in this range anyway, so it's not a big concern about your aim. But you don't want to compromise your positioning and your attention on this Genji, who isn't doing anything anyways, right? You want to focus on point. You want to focus on the fight. That was a meat shot. You're wandering so close to the ledge, it's almost like you're gonna fall off without getting booped. Yeah, don't be afraid to primal this guy. Yeah. It's not the hugest value, mostly because like his primal is kind of bad. But you know, whole log isn't that good of an ult, so any situation you can get to get value is pretty good. Again, like you don't want to focus on point. Point kind of sucks. You want to focus on this part of the map, right? So like you kind of like when there was nothing else going on anywhere else in the map, you were really hesitant to stand on point, right? When the Rhine was there, when the monkey was there, you kept backing in this direction. And then as soon as you kill the monkey, you walk straight onto point, right? When the problem is these people, right? That's when you need to be here, right? So again, when this part of the map is important, as long as anyone else is alive, right? If everyone is on point, this part of the map is no longer as important, right? It's okay, but it's no longer as important, right? But yeah, when you kill these people, right? When you kill the people on point is literally not your concern anymore. You want to be over here now, right? But like again, like this is just really hard. You're trying to like, if you just look at this, like you can't kill this guy, right? But if you're here, you just walk around the corner. She's not ready for it. You get a free hook. You kill her, right? Warrior's going to go duel her now, but you're not in position. Yeah, if you just look, you just have nothing to shoot and nothing to do, right? Whereas if you're here, right, again, you don't have anything to shoot, but you're just by standing here, you're making this McCree scared, right? But over here, not so much, right? And again, whenever you double off tank, you really don't want to put your off tanks together. Diva Hog is a little different, in that like Diva is like can serve as a bodyguard for Hog, to prevent like Ana cooldowns basically. She can protect you when you're hooking, or like from getting slept or anti-nated, etc., right? But at the same time, that's assuming you're taking a very aggressive position, right? So she can stack on you if, like, for example, you're pushing an Ana, right? And then she'll be like, I give you DM as you push around the corner, no chance of getting slept, you kill this Ana, right? But if you're just standing here, Diva really doesn't want to be here, and neither do you. Yeah, so now you look, right? Now you remember to go pillars, and this is good. Like it's good that you remember this. It's just late because if you look, this Hog's beating you to pillars now, right? And your Zen might get caught on an island, he might die, right? It's just kind of unfortunate. Yeah, and your Zen dies basically because you weren't there fast enough. Also, don't be afraid to just like commit a bit harder. So what happened is like the Hog like missed the hook in front of you, right? He threw the hook at the Zen and missed. In which case you should just walk straight at him and try to find a hook, because it's pretty free. Yeah, like you're at full health. He was missing quite a bit of health because you're hitting like solid right clicks on him. So you just need to walk up to him, throw the hook, just try and kill him, right? And the Hog should be more scared of you than the other way around, right? But you were kind of backing up as soon as you saw the Hog was pushing pillars, and there's just not much to fear there. That's a good hook, but yeah, it doesn't give you a kill. Oh god, you're so close to getting booped all the time. Oh, you're dead. Hook him. Aw. Damn. You. Oh my god, that's the volume. Okay. So you gave up pillars when you didn't have to, right? And then as a result, you lost pillars and you had nowhere to back up to, right? So instead of backing up in this direction, playing the safe angles, right? You try to back towards point, right? And you just get like hit from a pretty nasty crossfire, and then like you get hooked and you just fall off the map, right? So again, I just want to like show like this. It may look like you couldn't have done much here, but it really came down to the fact that you didn't kill the hog first, or at least like pressure him so far back that he like ran, right? And as a result, that's directly that directly leads to what kills you later, right? So like there's a lot of things, right? For example, like when you died here to the boop, right? You died to the double boop. You didn't have a lot of control over like dying to the double boop, right? But you controlled where you were before you got booped by the monkey, and you should have been here, right? And this prevents you from dying. This is what got you killed, and it's a difference of a couple feet, right? But there was no reason to go this way in the first place, right? And that's what the problem here is, right? In this case, like you were late to pillars, right? And then instead of fighting for pillars, you backed up, and then from pillars they just killed you, right? I just want to show how these things lead into one another.
I'm ready to initiate self-destruct sequence.
Get into position.
Yeah. So this is the fearful approach. I can't like you're scared, right? You don't want to challenge for pillars, right? And you don't have to commit for pillars, right? You can just sit here all day farming the mini, just like harassing this guy and trading, right? And like eventually, like he might make a mistake and you might hook him and kill him, or he might like mess up, like stop paying attention, then you walk up and you kill him, right? Or like you swing out this way when he's not expecting it, you just focus on something else and you hook him off, right? There's a lot of ways to play this fight, right? But you don't want to like your answer to this situation can't be let me just go back to my team, right? Because again, this is the power position on the map. This part really doesn't matter, right? The only reason to go this way again is if you're going to flank all the way around, and your team's already half committed to point, so this is going to take way too long because you initially committed to this direction, right? And then you realize that like you don't, then you decide you don't want to be here, and this rotation takes literally years, right? If you want to do this rotation, you need to start off doing this early, like much earlier, right? You should be in front of the Doom right now, in terms of like taking this position. If you want to like make this flank within a reasonable time, because again, we're going to come out here and we're probably just going to die to a hook. And it's going to feel terrible, or boot, right? Again, we just don't want to be here. Look at this McCree, right? He feels so safe, right? Imagine if you're here, this just doesn't happen, right? This is like vaguely threatening to him, right? But you can also just die because you got hooked him here, this exact spot last time, right? So, and he can roll around, he can play the mini, he can keep flanking around the map, right? It's just not very good situation for your team to be in. Now you're going to double back. Oh, he's so dead. You have to hook him. Yeah. So if you think about that, your contribution to this fight, though, really, you just killed the McCree, right? You took no space. The McCree actually got all the space in the world. He just misplayed off of it, and then your team like went and bulldozed them on points somehow. I don't even know how they did it, to be honest. But you essentially removed the McCree from the fight, and you removed yourself from the fight, and your team won a 5v5, right? And that's not how you consistently win games. You need to like do a lot more than that. It was good they killed McCree. He played the individual like fight pretty well. But like we're having a lot of issues like consistently taking map control here. Right, like we're on point again. Where should we be? We should be up here, right? We've talked about this before. Gotta count your shots, right? I don't want to keep harping the same things, right? But like ammo management, gotta count your shots, because you don't want that to happen. Not sure that heal was necessary either. Good punch. Okay. That's unfortunate. Ulti here. Yeah. It's good. Oh, there's a ball on your left? Alright. Alright, so what was the mistake? Do you realize? See what happened? Let's look where you were at when you got booped. This line right here. I talked about this last time, right? Or like a second ago. It's this line right here that gets you killed, right? You can never step past this line if you're at all even minutely concerned about a boop, right? You need to be very, very sure there's no boop at all before you step past that line. Because you step past it, you die. 9 times out of 10. And like, if we think about it, like, did you need to walk past the line, right? That's a second check, right? And so here, you hog, right? That's fine. You start shooting this ball, right? How close do you need to walk out to shoot this ball? Not really, right? You can easily stay in this doorway and keep shooting this ball. But you kept walking out, right? You didn't stop holding W until you got to this point, right? And then you got booped, right? And then it was too late. So again, I want to stress, like, you need to have just like a mental barrier in mind that you never step past this point unless you're very sure you won't get booped. Because it's just not worth the risk.
My ultimate is charging.
Wrecking ball. Okay, hang on a second. Okay. Wait, what happened here? Alright, I don't want to run this to run on too long, so probably gonna watch probably like 20 minutes in. You just didn't let go of the grapple fast enough. Unfortunate. Slam. Okay, so it can be difficult to find slam angles if you're not very comfortable in ball, right? It can be difficult to like find ideal rollouts, etc. that will get you slams, right? There's what's called like a cliff slam. I don't know the official name for it, but like you can like roll off the edge and then slam back on, but you don't want to risk that on this map because it's Boop City, right? You want to do that on like things like, for example, like if can't think of a good comparison. This map's all cliffs. So like for example, if you're right here, like on the top of the steps right here, and you want to slam this area, you can like roll off the steps and then like turn around and slam, right? Like you can jump, turn around, and slam, because like your altitude will be higher on this part of the steps because it's like lower, right? And also you don't risk getting booped because this part of the map is very dangerous, so don't do that. What I'm saying is like it can be difficult to get slam value if you're not really comfortable in ball. But anytime they give you free altitude, right? Like when you get ticked up by the Doomfist, right? Take your free slam, right? Right. So right here, right? Instead of grappling here, just slam first, right? And then do whatever you want after that. I guess it looks like you're trying to find a boop. But yeah, you're having issues. Do you keep playing ball? Let's see. You do. Okay, cool. All right, so before we just focus mostly on ball. For your Roadhog, the most Roadhog specific tip thing that you need to work on is just counting your shots. Whenever you like, it's just terrible when you hook and you have 0 ammo. And you just never want that to happen. So you just want to like count your shots, make sure you have at least 1 ammo, preferably 2 before you go for a hook. And the reason why you need 2 is because you want to right click hook, right? You can cancel it. If you want to hook tanks, or if you want to hook Ryan in particular, you need to know there's attention split somewhere else, or that you've broken his shield, right? In some cases, you can mind game him when he's about to throw a fire strike. You can just throw your hook, and you can just catch him that way. But unless you're doing that, right, you need to have a good reason to throw a hook. Don't just like shoot and then wait for a second, and then like don't hesitate when you're throwing a hook, because decisiveness. Hang on. Sorry. Okay. Throwing a hook indecisively can oftentimes get it blocked, right? Against Ryan in particular. But just in general, like hitting hooks on people who are not paying attention is just way easier than the inverse. So yeah, just like look where their attention is, then throw a hook. For that map in particular, you have to be careful about getting booped. The defining feature of that map is the giant pit of death, right? So You just have to like play very very safe whenever you go, whenever you're going to point, whenever you're playing on point, whenever you're playing pillars. Just be aware of what can boop you, and play accordingly. Um, and then also just emphasize pillars. Don't play point. Point is like a death trap. You were like generally playing for point and the cubby area, and you really should play for pillars. Um, and there are certain situations where you can't take pillars, but in most situations you should try. Pillars is just too important. Um, yeah. Now let's go to Wrecking Ball. No, you don't start with this. Is this actually what you do the entire time? Oh my god. You're doing nothing! Alright. So, the spinning around the point trick is good. It's good to do that when you need to stall, right? Again, when you come into Sanctum, right? When we were on Sanctum, I talked about how like the Rhino was wasting his time because the point wasn't even capped yet, right? Like there's no way to cap the point actually, so why is he on point, right? So this is the same scenario in that like this is a stall tactic that you're using on a point that literally can't be stalled and that your team doesn't even have capped yet, right? So there's no point to stalling because your team's not losing and your team's not losing, so they don't need help on point, and your team's also hasn't won yet. And your team doesn't have control of the point, so there's no point stalling because stalling wastes everybody's time, right? So it doesn't benefit you in any meaningful way. So there are a couple things to understand about Ball. One is that he's a lot like playing Monkey. He's still like a dive hero. He's just a lot worse at staying in the fight than Monkey is because Monkey is Bubble, and Bubble is really strong. But he's a lot better at getting in and out without taking damage, which is something that Monkey can't do because Monkey is very like I press button and now I'm here, right? And he doesn't get in and out very effectively, right? So for Ball, you want to like flank as much as possible because even though like you're because you have the mobility to be wherever you want, and if you engage from odd angles, you take less damage on your way in, right? If we divide this map into 3 lanes, right? This is main, this is right, and this is left, right? Never want to approach the enemy team from main because they see you and they will shoot you, and then like when you roll into them, they'll CC you and you'll die, right? So you want to like always approach from an odd angle, right? So just come from like right side, and then when they're not expecting, and then like go around them, and then like grab this thing, right? Grapple off this, like roll into them, right? And then come out over here, right? And then grab this mini, and then do it again from this side, right? And you just want to keep doing that until you find a good opportunity to actually commit on someone who's alone, right? For example, this McCree, very alone right now. You can just kill him. You have 600 HP plus a shield, and 2 forms of CC that add up to 150 damage if you landed on him, right? And if you think about it, then you only have 75 damage to work with your bullets, and he'll probably just die, right? You want to find isolated people like this McCree to just kill, right? And if you get a +1 with you, like this Doom, this McCree is 100% dead, no concerns whatsoever. But you do need to like find these people, and you do that by like rolling around the map, booping people around, finding opportunities to engage, right? And then as you boop people around, right, people don't like being booped a lot, so they'll start to naturally spread out, right? And then you pick on one guy who's alone, and you kill him, right? And that's your basic game plan as Ball, in 99% of situations. The minutia of how you do it, and like the specifics of how you handle like weird situations, where like, for example, like they have a lot of like anti-ball heroes, right? It's maybe less about rolling into them, and more rolling around them and trying to pull attention, right? But as your general rule, you want to roll into them, like engage from odd angles, and or else like just like just engage from odd angles, and you never want to go straight in, and you don't need to stall until you're in a situation where stalling is actually important, right? So again, either when you have control of the point and your team's losing, so they need you to like stand on point and just buy as much time as you can, or your team is just losing in general and they need someone to be on point to stop the enemy team from capping, right? Just basically, if you need to stop the enemy team from capping, stalling is good, right? But in this case, right, like it doesn't. But stalling doesn't progress your win condition, right? Stalling doesn't like make you start winning, right? So spinning around the pole is cool and all, but like it doesn't do anything, right? Whereas if you like, for example, kill the McCree, that's impact.
I'm on fire. Anyone want a piece of
So you can definitely grapple out of spawn. The really easy way to do it. So the really easy way to do it is you just grapple on this thing right here, or on the right thing. Depends on which way you want to go, or it really doesn't matter. Whichever side you're more comfortable on. I like this side. Matter. You just grapple on one of these sides, right? And then you get your fireball going, and then you just roll. You don't have to swing up. You just need to like roll. And that'll get you going faster, and you'll get to spawn like you get out of spawn like way faster overall. Don't just give up. Keep rolling or keep grappling. Oh my gosh. No. Alright, so the Rhine's bad, we've confirmed this. So you get away with this. But as a general rule, don't fight Reinhardt's point blank. And I know that sounds really stupid, but like he's got a hammer, and he can't hit you if you stand outside his hammer range, right? If you're a faster character than Ball, there's almost no reason to ever get hit by the hammer, unless like there's a reason for you, like unless like you have to play close to them, like because like say he's like capping or something on a cart, and you have to like get close to him to stall the cart, right? Or like you're going for like a play, right? You want to kill someone, you might eat a hammer swing as a tracer or something, but you just recall after that. Or if you're Ball, like you're going for a pile drive and you're gonna roll away after that, right? But if you don't have to eat hammer swings, like don't, right? You can't do anything about it. If you just stand here and shoot him, right? And he has to walk at you, right? And then when he gets close to you, you just like roll away and then come back again, right? You can boop him, then just keep going through him, right? And then shoot him from the back, right? He has to catch you, right? But don't stand next to Rhine. Don't fight the Rhine at point blank. And also as a Ball specific thing, try not to get caught in closed areas, right? This is how you die as Ball, right? Just in closed areas where you can't like crazy movement to escape. And you're really vulnerable to things like Junkrat, to Doomfist, to McCree, because you're very close to them. It's very hard for them to miss their CC, right? So it's good to get this kill. This is more on him being bad than you doing anything good in particular. Because if you look, where is his team, right? If he got any help, he would have lived there. So, yeah. I'm going solo on this one. Just real quick. Alright, so this is the very last important thing on Ball. So Ball's macro game is like dead simple. So it's cool that you lived, it's cool that you got a big shield, right? But where is your team when you win it, right? That's you going in, right? Where's your team? You got a Doomfist up here. You got a that's a dead Rhine. You got an Ana over here. You got a Diva and Zen on point, and your Junkrat's Junkrat. Die. How do you die here? Just standing still. Okay, so your Junkrat's dead. And then you decide to go in, right? If you just look, there's no your team is not only not helping, not like doing anything. They also can't help what you're doing, right? So for example, if the enemy team was right here, right? The enemy team was pushing in, right? And you came from above somewhere and you slammed them, and then your Doomfist like went in off that, and your Zen and your Ana started shooting them from main or something, or from over here, right? As you slammed, that's that's a play that your team could help you on, right? If you look, like the difference between this and this is that your team has like Zen shots, and that's it, right? And otherwise, they're just not contributing, right? And that's not their fault, because like you're engaging in a place where they can't help, right? So the two most important things for Ball, the two very most important things, right, is never go through main, right? You want to engage from you want to engage from odd angles, and you never and you want to like try to disrupt them or dive if you're allowed to, depending on the situation, right? The dive thing is more like if they have like if they don't have tools to stop you, right? Or you're a very aggressive team comp. I guess it's like and you have an aggressive comp that wants to go in like very aggressively, right? Then you can just kind of dive, right? But you still don't want to do it through main, right? Like so, you want to disrupt or dive from odd angles, not from the front. You want to do things at the same time as your team can follow up on, right? And that's a lot of words to say that like don't do things that you're when your team's not doing anything, right? So that's kind of paradoxical. This goes for every main tank in the book, right? But especially for Ball, because Ball has a lot of freedom to be wherever he wants. And it's very easy to get in the trap of ball and just doing things because you can, right? Like no other main tank can just stand here and do this and not die for it, but ball can. But that doesn't mean this is good. You know what I mean? Um, and yeah, it's very easy to get in the trap of ball of like just fighting these guys because like I'm not going to die for it, so this is good, right? But it's bad because you use all your cooldowns, and then when they actually walk in, you don't have your shield, for example, or your pile drive, and those are really big cooldowns. Um, so so again, don't do things where your team can't help, right? So or your team isn't doing anything. So if like they're walking in, right? You slam, right? Your team can do things. Over here, on the other side of the choke, right? Your team can't do things. Thus, this is a bad dive, right? And that's how you need to think about everything you do on main tank, but especially for ball. Um, so I think I'll wrap it up here. We're already like 35 minutes in. um, so if you watch all the way to the end, just DM me what 7 plus 6 equals, and I'll cut the VOD here. Yeah, please let me know if this was helpful, and also let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns.